What's
welcome
up,
everybody welcome everybody to Honor Ramble. We are back.
We're back.
Auntie
The
Collins
dream team
is back with us again. So how are you doing?
Have I always been on the left side? Was I on the left side last time? I don't remember. This is wow. It's like it never happened.
But it's magically fixed.
Oh my gosh. Hey, that's a comment for me. This music is so good. Honestly,
oh man.
I'm over here during the intro
right.
when we're backstage just dancing like I'm a mom at a high school dance.
Just letting it go. There you go.
Kyle, how was your week?
Well, I welcome everybody to our local establishment and the Honor Ramble. My week was pretty darn good. It's just been I've just been enjoying watching wrestling when I get the chance. As I don't hide too much, I've got 2 kids at home, so I don't get to spend a lot of time on wrestling. But especially once they get to bed, then we can talk. But no, it's been a good week. How are you feeling?
Well, you covered everything. So I sound so good. I have a sinus infection and an ear infection. So this in ear is not really in my ear. So we're we're going through. We're making it because I want to hang out with you and everyone else here. So you can't get my germs. So
Well, I'm glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Uh, no, I'm glad to have you back here. You were out doing your own thing last week, and Ed sat in for you, and we had a lovely show. I I'm I know Ed was a fan of the classic Ring of Honor. We're gonna get him into this one too. We're gonna get him into Tony Khan's Ring of Honor. It's gonna be great. Um,
Oh my
but
gosh.
did you get a chance to watch last week's show?
Yes, I did. I watched it sporadically in between. So like here's the shindig of what happened. So I went to the concert, right? It was so great. I was wearing a mask in between, drinks and food and all the things. So Friday worked all day and then I was like, I feel a little off. Maybe it's just because I was out all night, I was dancing, I was having a good time. So I slept for 15 hours that next day. Then I went to a friend's house and I was like, normally I'm more, wanting to do things and I could only do a couple hours. Went home and I slept for 15 more hours. I was like, this is a lot. Something's happening. So just being in between the sleeping, yeah, 15-hour rest is a dream. That's the best part about not having kids and just, in between the little sleeping bouts you put on. Oh, I needed to watch Ring of Honor, so I watched the first hour and then fall asleep, then come back and, oh, where did I leave off? So you kind of overlap. But yeah, that's kind of how my week, because I had Monday off from work, but um yeah, it was just a lot of resting and a lot of watching wrestling. So
Hey, and if you have been a fan of women's wrestling, then this week and last week have been fantastic shows for you.
nah,
If you're a fan of the
boy
women's
howdy.
division, then you need to check these shows out on Honor Club because we have 5 of the 9 matches on tonight's show
Ooh,
are involving the women,
ooh,
and this was a good show. This one was a good show, top to bottom. We had a lot of fun with it, and no cold open, no nothing. We hit the title sequence, and we went right to the ring. I mean, we ran the card down first. They do like there was no cold open. We were getting right. We got right to it with our 5th first round matchup in the women's TV title tournament as Taya Valkyrie took on Susie Love.
hmm,
And yeah, this was
hmm,
about as you'd expect.
yeah.
Susie, Susie's worked predominantly in Mexico.
Hmm.
She's worked predominantly in Mexico. She did have some dates with AAA back in 2022. Um, haven't seen a lot of her, but stepping right, this was a match. It
It
was perfectly
was.
serviceable. Susie showed some really interesting things, but
Hmm.
I don't think anybody really thought she had a shot to knock off Taya here.
Absolutely not, especially with how she's been acting the last couple weeks leading up to the tournament. It was everything that a Taya Valkyrie match first round needed to be. Get in, get your stuff done. Susie did get some offense in. It wasn't completely unscathed. You see Taya break a little bit of a sweat, but not much. Um, but if Taya had lost, it would have been her match to lose. She had
Yes.
every advantage going into it. So, um, yeah, it was a match.
Well, she survived a little bit more than I anticipated. I remember I had in my notes that I was very surprised to see Susie kick out of that because Taya hit that sit out royal butterfly into that cruncher uh,
Yeah, that
deep
looked.
deep into the match. I thought that might have been the finish right there. Even though you'd never seen Taya win with that, but that's a heck of a move. Look how the
Yeah.
overlords are watching. So how's it going, gang? Thanks for stopping in with us tonight. So
Hey,
I
if you're
did have
here
a
for the
note that I
first
was impressed to
time,
kick out of that.
yeah, if you're here for the first time, sorry to interrupt. If you're here for the first time, please give this video a little like. Shout out everyone in the chat. Make sure you share it. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, that's what the YouTubers say, right?
All that helps the all of that helps the our local establishment stuff get seen. We do have a lot of other content on the YouTube channel that we like everybody to see. Right before we went on, we had Bobby and Big Papa Smokes hosting a trivia episode where they were handling ROH trivia. So that was good times. I obviously couldn't go in and participate, but because I was getting ready for this show. But we have a lot of fun stuff going on in the channel, and we have Astrid and Ed doing post show reviews. There's all sorts of fun stuff going on. So be sure to check us out on our local establishment. You can also follow us at OLE Podcasts on Twitter, X, and yeah. Anyway, we'll get that plug out of the way. We'll hit it again at the end of the show. But yeah, this was fun. And Auntie, people are here and saying hi to their auntie, so we love to hear it.
You gotta come pay your respects to your auntie. I'm wearing my suit. I got a matching top and bottom here. Sass and ass over here. So.
And Ed, spot on. I was going to get to that next. Taya will take on Queen Aminata in the quarterfinals, and that's going to be some fun.
I can't wait. I know we're going to talk later about Queen Aminata's little promo, little package, little interview with Renee, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to pick a winner, honestly. I'm not really sure I could see that going in a couple of different directions. So should be a lot of fun. As we talked after the first match, we get a recap of last week's action. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out on Honor Club episode 51. A lot of fun stuff there. 4 great women's matches, including a really good main event with Diamante taking on Kiera Hogan. Really good stuff. So be sure to check that out.
Kyle, how did we miss it?
So after
this is the 52nd episode under Tony Collins.
It is.
And I was going to bring birthday hats and birthday cake and streamers. Happy birthday. Oh. Happy birthday.
52 weeks. 52 weeks for Ring of Honor.
From all of us to you. Happy birthday. From Honor Ramble to you.
Hey, there we go. Even though this is episode 3 for us, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Exactly. Next week is the anniversary show. Listen, I'm down for it.
Yeah, let's party. Should be some fun. And Bobby checking in via Twitch. Love and Honor Ramble. Thank you, Bobby. Glad to see you stopping in.
We love that.
Match 2. Big Shotty Lee Johnson taking on Sonico.
I love Sonico so much. So much. Worked with him here out in the Indies. Such a wonderful human. Wonderful guy. Talented guy. You could hear the crowd say, Sonico. I mean, hello. Yeah. I was stoked to see him there.
Because this was taped in Vegas, I think, or in that vicinity, in Nevada, I think.
Yes. He and his partner relocated to Vegas from Seattle. So
yeah.
But another Lee Johnson spotlight match.
Same thing. He got his spots. He had a couple of good ones.
Yeah.
But right away, Sonico rejects the code of honor. Little saucy, a little spicy in his first match
I
in
know.
ROH.
Yeah, he basically that kind of sets the stage up of like, okay, who is your face and who is your heel? Who are you going to be cheering for and who are you going to be booing? Even though it's hard to boo Sonico.
Well, that's the way it was in classic Ring of Honor back in 2002 when the promotion first started.
Yep.
I can't say that, Chris. I'm a Midwest guy, and so it's every time I've been out there, it's been very, very nice. I don't have anything bad to say about it, but this is where I live.
That's okay, Kyle. That's okay.
I am actually Midwest nice, not like what we say when they say Midwest nice and they really mean like you're passive aggressive and weird. Like
I
no, I'm
don't
actually Midwest nice.
I didn't know that was a thing. That they weren't
That
actually
it.
nice to me. Everybody's nice to me, right?
So back to the match. Sorry. Yeah, you got to be nice to your auntie.
Yeah.
Uh, the I was going about the classic Ring of Honor back in 2002 when they started, and how the Code of Honor was an easy way to separate face from heel. Yes and no. They they did have the Prophecy Christopher Daniels group right away, and they specifically made a whole show of foregoing the Code of Honor, and that was clearly to delineate them as heels. But then you also had heels that still followed the Code of Honor, so it was a
Yeah.
tricky thing. But uh, in any event, this was indeed Sonico's ROH debut. His last appearance on Dark was a loss to Powerhouse Hobbs in a dark match in November.
Mm-hmm.
He did have a loss to Preston Vance on Rampage in January of 2023. But this was a lot of fun. It was a good showcase for him. They got a little shot. They got about 5 minutes to do their thing. It was a fun little sprint, and these reps are doing so much good for Lee Johnson.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like he is quietly turning into a very solid performer.
Listen, my schedule is open. If we want to do a special Honor Ramble on the 5th.
I think we can make something like that happen. I won't. We'll see. We'll see how my schedule looks. I am working on a couple of offline projects that may or may not require my time. By that point, I'll keep everybody apprised. But
Listen, it's the day before I elope, so take that with what you will.
oh my, fair.
Oh.
But
But yeah, I totally agree. Getting reps in for Lee Johnson gets us comfortable with him, gets him on our television screens. He gets out of that, the jobber kind of stigma that is stenched all over him. Because when Lee Johnson has been on AEW television, he's been just the jobber. So seeing him
losing.
kind of yeah, yeah. So seeing him, get some wins, actually kind of get the crowd behind him for a little bit. Sonico did a great job of healing it up. But they started to clap and chant for him as the match was going on and as he was getting the advantage over Sonico. So yeah, I absolutely agree. Lee Johnson is getting his spotlight, and it's well deserved because he is a very athletic and talented, very green still, but very talented guy.
Yeah, but we loved watching those guys come up through Ring of Honor. Like I make mention of it later on in our semi main, but I remember watching a young Matt Seidel come up
Oh,
through Ring of Honor starting in his very early 20s, and you watched him put it together bit by bit, outing after outing, and turned into the performer we know today.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to get to see those, and hopefully Lee will have that kind of a longevity to his career if he so chooses.
Yeah. We love to see that.
So yeah, Lee picked up the win here. He had that with that lifting reverse DDT, which now has a name. Caprice called it the shot drop.
Oh, that's so good. Like shoddy.
So,
oh my gosh, I love that.
So there you go.
That's
there you
good.
go. That's clever. I'm not sure that it's as good as Taya's curb stomp finish that she calls Shania Pain, though.
Man, I feel like a woman.
That has to win. It just has to. I'm not even a country fan, and that's just tremendous. Just because it is the silliest wordplay, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. You know that took a lot of like, oh my God, I have to do this. I absolutely love that. I love it. All right.
Oh, the Overlord's chiming in on Twitch. That move don't impress me much. Oh, we triggered a coughing fit in Auntie. There, now we've done it.
How dare you?
It's all right. Let's get back to the tournament with more tournament action as Red Velvet took on Sandra Moon. This was some fun stuff. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, don't kill your aunties.
No.
This isn't that kind of movie.
I like Ed a lot, but you're the one.
Oh my gosh. That's another Shania Twain song I was about to start singing, and that would have been really bad. Okay, but yeah, so Red Velvet.
It's nice to have a through line for the show. So
yeah,
Red Velvet and Sandra Moon.
Sorry, I just sneezed.
Oh gosh. I'll take over from here. Sandra Moon was last seen on the Jay Briscoe Celebration of Life show way back in January of 2023 was the last time she was seen on Ring of Honor. In a 3-minute loss to Yuka Sakazaki.
Oh, I love Yuka Sakazaki. I miss seeing her on Ring of Honor. It would be nice to see her again.
There was a point where I really thought she was going to be the one to take the title off Athena back when she was challenging back at Supercard a couple years ago, or last year, and didn't pan out. No, this is what we do. We ramble, Ed. This is why it's called Honor Ramble.
Come on, Ed.
No, this was. I had my notes like I don't want to besmirch the name of Sandra Moon because she's super talented. Mm-hmm. She has a great reputation in the Indies, has won titles, and so on and so forth. But I struggle with her being in this tournament because she has one match in Ring of Honor that I can find, and it was on the Jay Briscoe tribute show. It was a 3-minute loss. I guess you could say she's here on her reputation, and there's a couple points during the course of the night that Ian and Caprice try to talk about this. That
right,
even though they aren't doing things in Ring of Honor, they are doing big things elsewhere, and that reputation is enough to get them the spot in the tournament. But I just don't know. I'm glad they're there. I'm glad they're getting a shot to showcase themselves, but
yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing of, your reputation precedes yourself, whatever it is in, the indie world. Some indie fans are Ring of Honor fans, but not all Ring of Honor fans are indie wrestling fans. So there are people who are familiar with Sandra Moon and some aren't. She is the current PHW Party Monster champion and has held that championship, for how silly it is, for over 1,000 days. So it's a long time. Got that, there. I think in 2021 it was where she was picking up a lot of her, big title matches, and into 2022. But I mean, this is another, another one of their first rounds that it's like, okay, we know who is going to defeat whom. We kind of have already seen it in the stars, seen it, featured players, I guess, on Ring of Honor television. Commentary did mention that Red Velvet was 3-0, since she's returned, which is amazing. And I just think it's funny that anytime commentary mentions, oh, Sandra Moon has the height advantage or weight advantage on Red Velvet, when I've met Red Velvet and she's the tiniest, cutest person, that it's like, it's not hard to have the advantage. So, I mean, not that I'm saying it's, kind of lazy to put over on commentary, but, we just kind of, we knew that was going to be a thing. So it's her battle to fight as well. So,
well, I will say this, to me, this looked like about the smoothest I've seen Red Velvet look in a while. Not that she's looked bad previously necessarily, but that, like, it just was a really solid outing tonight from her.
Yeah.
And that was great to see. And it's an easy story to tell in ring. It's the smaller the size differential, smaller versus bigger, power versus technique and speed. It's tale as old as time, and they did it really well. And it warmed my nerdy wrestling fan heart to hear the discussion of the general efficacy and the effects of the short arm scissor, like, which continued after the move had already been escaped from.
Right. Yeah.
We were still talking about it. Like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
I'm
funny.
here for
that. Yeah, I did notice that, and I noticed mostly that Red Velvet seemed a little bit more agile in this match than she had in her previous 3 other matches, which obviously took the advantage of the the strength and the height, I guess to say, for Sandra Moon, who's also not as tall, but I mean, she's a little bit taller. But it seemed like Red Velvet did stay in control, and it was a good match to feature Red Velvet. So, don't pen in your bracket, so to speak, with who you think will win, because I think that Red Velvet could surprise you.
Yes. And Red Velvet did pick up the win here. Let's see, what other notes did I have here? That, yes, please bring in Sandra Moon for more dates with Ring of Honor moving forward. That would be fantastic. She'd be an amazing addition to the division. I liked the near fall off the Fisherwoman's Buster, because I thought that was tremendous and how that was delivered. The Avalanche Casadora out of the corner that led into the final mix kick for the finish.
Yeah, that really slowed down Sandra Moon. That was like where her whole momentum and their combativeness, it just ended. It that's where it's like that, go for the kill, you struck, and now you go for the kill, kind of, in that fight. That was really good of Red Velvet to see that hole and to take it into the finish.
Yeah. And that finish was the final mix, that spin wheel kick that I think it's the same basic kick that Ospreay used for a while. I think that was his Robinson special.
Next, we're gonna see a pan shot next to Red Velvet, and we're gonna upset all the IWC of who has the better.
Love it. Let's engagement farm. Here we go.
Let's do it. Everyone create a burner account. Let's go. Let's Oh my gosh.
So Red Velvet moves on. Red Velvet will take on Layla Hirsch in
Ooh.
the quarterfinals.
I'm really sad that I didn't get to talk about Layla Hirsch and Rachel Ellering from last week.
Go ahead. Now's your time.
Oh my god, that was my time. Oh my gosh. Well, it was obvious the best match that has gone on so far. Oh my god, we're big screen now. Please, please let me just I this is exactly what women's wrestling is. This is exactly what we want this TV title to be. Laying everything on the line, even your friendships. There were some, I would say, low blows. There were, there was some cheap shots, so to speak, but there wasn't an obvious winner. It could have gone either way. Did I think that Layla was going to take it all? Yes, but I love Rachel Ellering so much. She's one of my favorite women's wrestlers to watch, because if you just watch precisely how she contorts her body and moves it around, and there is that height advantage with Rachel Ellering, so she had to change the way that she wrestled in order to face Layla Hirsch, and Layla Hirsch took on that challenge because it is another one of these, David and Goliath scenarios. So you go back and forth, and then you get the elbow spot. Have you ever hit your funny bone so hard that it made you cry? Times 1,000, dislocating your elbow. And there was this whole moment that I was mystified. I was completely I thought the match was over. I thought, oh my gosh, this is how they're ending this match with Rachel Ellering getting injured, either kayfabe or in real life, or whatever. But she has to go to the side. She has to get her elbow put back into place. And remember, that doesn't just heal you, right? We're not Piccolo from the Dragon Ball Z, where he cuts off his arm and then he grows back another arm. No, 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 no. That's your weakness. That's your point of weakness. That's an area that has been injured, that Layla Hirsch did her best not to exploit, but used to her advantage. And I think that in the end, Layla came out on top because she knew how to use yes, thank you. I am going to always use anime references, because if there's anything that I love just as much as wrestling, it's anime. But that's a topic for another day. But Layla saw the point of weakness and attacked. And I think that is how you crown a champion. That is how you display that you are worth having that TV title, because this TV title is the person that's going to be on television defending this title week after week after week. In Ring of Honor, it's proved that you don't have to have the best mic skills, but you got to put on those nasty good matches, those stankin' good matches. And I think that Layla Hirsch is up for the challenge. So with Layla Hirsch going up against Red Velvet this week, I think it's kind of perfect, because Layla Hirsch now has to have someone on her equal level, same size. How is she going to use it for her advantage? With tall people, you can use the momentum, right? Move them forward, but not this time. But their friendship prevails. So, it was a hella good match. And I got really sweaty just now. Thank you for letting me have my little piece, because that was so good. I think I watched it like 4 times because it was so good. The way that it was just spaced out together. So thank you. End scene.
Well, that is the kind of passion that we bring to the Honor Ramble. And, you didn't get it last week, so who would I be if I did not give you the opportunity to express your love for it this week? This show's all about our love for Ring of Honor. So
exactly.
This week, last week, random show from 2003. I don't know who would possibly talk about things like that, but nevertheless, and although that side of the bracket's a tough one for Layla Hirsch. If she does get past Red Velvet next week, she's got either Queen Aminata or Taya Valkyrie waiting for her. in the semis. The road doesn't get easier. As to borrow a line from Bobby Heenan from the famous Royal Rumble '92, talking about Ric Flair, they don't get any easier. They just get bigger. They just get meaner. There you go.
I look at this bracket and all I'm thinking is, okay, how can I strategically make, because again, we're trying to find the best television title. Who's going to week after week after week bring those excellent matches? So
Billy could, Mercedes could, Layla could, Queen Aminata could, Taya could.
Taya could.
I don't want to undersell Diamante or Abaddon, but like this is a great quarterfinal grouping.
I really could. I love that Chris is in the chat, always campaigning for Lady Frost, and that was a person that we talked about our first week that we were shocked was not in the tournament.
Yeah, and I believe it was because I think we talked about that she's on a tour of CMLL right now. I think it was. So she just isn't there. As the coaches would always say, the best ability is availability, and at least for right now, she was not available.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad.
So we go backstage after this matchup for comments from Taya Valkyrie. And short version is she wants some respect on her name because she can't believe they threw Sussy Love at her. And she wants an opponent she can sink her teeth into, and she wants competition. Well, next week, she's getting it.
Oh, yeah. Whew.
Well, I think it's next week. Honestly, I don't know. I don't believe we said. I'd have to go back and rewatch the show again. But I was taking a lot of notes. So yes, she wants TV ready competition. I would say Queen Aminata is definitely that. But if we are trying to hold off the finals until Supercard of Honor on April 5th, then or maybe because it's a TV title, maybe we burn through this tournament and then we spend the next month or so building a TV title feud for Supercard. I wouldn't be averse to that either.
Yeah, that's true.
I know you like to do tournament finals at pay-per-views, but that'd be quite an artificial stretch at that point.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not lost for words. I'm just looking at all the things. I got a little bit ADHD over here, and I started strategically planning things in my head. So that would be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks?
Yeah,
6 weeks.
Sounds about right. 5 or 6 weeks. Yeah, something in that neighborhood. And you have the 4 quarterfinal matches and the 2 semifinal matches to go yet. I don't think you're doing 1 match a week. That seems...
That would be too slow.
By a lot.
So would you do 2 matches per week? To this week, or to next week, to the following week?
I think you do one side of the bracket next week on the 29th, and then you do another side of the bracket the week after on whatever that is in March.
Is that March 6th? Yeah. 7th. I have a calendar on my computer. Jeez.
It'd be March 7th.
Oh, March 7th. Oh, see?
There you go. So you get your bracket. You get the semifinals on the 29th and on the 7th, or the quarterfinals on the 29th and the 7th. Run your semifinals on the 14th and your finals on the 21st, and that would still give you 2 episodes of TV. I mean, it would be a TV type. I mean, this is an opportunity where you can use the tournament itself to maybe set up something, but.
I assume that they're going to have an episode on the 4th leading into the 5th.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 shows that we got to cover
And let's
1,
really
2,
hope
3,
that
4,
we don't set
5,
up like
6, 7 matches.
6 or 7 matches for the pay-per-view on that last April 4th show. Please. I know he has a habit of doing that. Can we please not do it that way? And yeah, the first defense on Supercard is very possible.
Yeah. Oh boy.
In
When they
any
announced
event,
that, by the way, I saw that they had announced, oh, Supercard of Honor was gonna be on the 5th. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's Kyle thinking? And then I refreshed my Twitter, and your tweet was the first tweet. I was like, oh, see? On the same wavelength.
We're talking about that on this show.
Yep.
About like how in all likelihood it's going to be that Friday at the Licoris Center, and because they've run there before, and
Yep.
there we are.
There we
no
are.
sources, just
yeah.
Oh,
Listen, I'm ready. Let's make bracelets. Let's go. WDKT? What is WDKT?
What does Kyle think?
What does Kyle think? That took too long. Oh my god.
Oh my. Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
All right, let's not kill me. Okay.
No killing your auntie.
Yeah, no killing your auntie. All right.
So Taya versus Queen Aminata next in the quarterfinals. I'm not sure I can pick a winner. I'll have to think about it. I can make a strong case for either one. I'd be excited to see either one advance, honestly. I would go Queen Aminata, but you can make a case for either one. And from all this serious pro wrestling action we've had to date, now, and as Monty Python once put it, and now for something completely different.
Yeah.
As Danhausen makes his return to Ring of Honor for the first time since November of 2021.
What? It's been that long. Wow. So he hasn't been at Tony Khan's Ring of Honor.
This is his Honor Club debut. At least in ring. I think he might have shown up as a second for one of the best friends at one point or another. But this is his first in-ring action on Honor Club against Brandon Cutler with Colt Cabana in his corner.
Okay, so what's so funny is I was watching it and I was just putting things away in the office or whatever, and I heard the elite, and I already knew the card, but at the same time I was like, wait a minute, what's happening? I always forget that he uses
that music,
and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, duh, okay, duh. But I would have never picked Colt Cabana and Brandon Cutler to be besties like that.
Ed is.
Oh no, Ed! I feel like we're gonna fight.
Are you not a fan of the comedy, Ed? Are you not a fan of the comedy wrestling? Should we not bring in Toru Yano?
I can't make his face.
No Sublime Master Thief here.
I love a little comedy in my wrestling. It kind of breaks it up.
It does.
I do love just how carny Brandon Cutler is. I love the cold spray. I love the outfit. I love the stupid little goggles. But it's also like it's also juxtaposed to the carny shit of Danhausen. He looks like he belongs in a circus. He looks like he like a weirdo guy with his cape and his little face paint. He's gonna curse you.
Oh no, that's his actual face. when he doesn't want to be Danhausen anymore, he puts on human face paint.
Oh my God.
I'm deep into the gimmick at this point. It's okay.
I'm into it. That's one thing, by the way, because that I miss with my old job. Could never do Halloween because Halloween was always month end, and I want to do like 5 wrestlers that do face paint. 5, like, because I miss doing that kind of work when I went to cosmetology school. So that's something that like I want to get back to doing more face paint. And I one time tried to do Danhausen and I could not post it online because I looked a little bit too like the makeup itself was kind of old. So I was like, okay, I was struggling with the product that I was working with. But Danhausen is hard, and the fact that he just does that, he just does it every time. I mean, actually, it's his skin, sorry. But he does it, and he wrestles with it.
Yep.
Wild.
And I love that comment from Bobby on Twitch there. Danhausen should introduce B-movie classics on Friday night TV. In the Midwest, I'm not from the Chicago area, but there was a guy, and you can look him up, named Svengoolie.
Svengoolie?
Yes, who would do it was essentially featuring horror and sci-fi films, and it was just always full of B-movie nonsense. Danhausen Elvira, there you go. He hosted just awful B-movies. He would have jokes and skits in between commercial breaks. It was kind of Mystery Science Theater 3000 before that was a thing.
I didn't know what Mystery Science Theater was at all until literally a month ago. No joke.
See, we're expanding your horizons now. This is
everybody. This is my old lady. Did I introduce her on the show? This is my old lady.
Oh,
that's her little baby.
The best girl.
Yeah, the best girl. She's hamming it up now.
Love it. So this was the kind of wacky hijinks you would expect from Brandon Cutler and Danhausen. I will say, although I'll ask you some trivia. See if you know this.
Oh no,
probably not.
No.
I don't know if you will or not. I had to look it up myself, so we'll see. This was Danhausen's first match since November of 2021. It was a tag team loss to the Briscoes on ROH TV. Do you remember who Danhausen's partner was for that match? He did have one guy that he partnered with a little bit towards the end of Ring of Honor, or towards the end of the Sinclair run. He is currently signed to Impact Wrestling, although he hasn't appeared on camera in a hot second, I don't believe.
Oh no. Blake Christian?
The answer is PCO.
PCO? What?
The former Ring of Honor World Champion. You had Danhausen and PCO were a tag team.
I mean, it works though. Era.
It really, really does.
Oh my God. He just rises from the dead every time.
And I honestly wish they had more time on camera because, oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, Smith. Appreciate having you here. I do wish PCO and Danhausen had more time because that is just the right mix of weird B-grade horror and utter nonsense, and it just fits.
Absolutely.
Some of the fun stuff from this match. Less than a minute in, Danhausen curses Cutler, or does he? Cutler, he literally feels his entire body and doesn't realize that the curse didn't do anything.
Yeah, but
oh no, ever the strategist.
Ever. Oh my
Danhausen
gosh.
cursed the cold spray.
The Colts, right? Watching like that, I don't know, couple seconds, maybe up to a minute of them just going and pushing it.
Yeah,
Put
and switching sprays with each other,
sprays,
and
right? And then all of a sudden, looking at itself and spraying it in the face, and
that is
oh
the
my,
kind of nonsense Looney Tunes BS that I am just yes, absolutely yes.
absolutely yes, exactly. Looney Tunes BS. That there's always spots in wrestling, even in Ring of Honor, for just the silliness of it all.
100%. Let's see. What else? What other fun did we have? Danhausen. That's,
Oh my god.
those are three great comedic performers, but you need to make it a 4-way because we need to have a straight man in there somewhere. Like there has to be a straight man to play off of all that insanity. That's why Toru Yano's greatest rival in New
Oh my
Japan
god.
was Minoru
Lost.
Suzuki.
Damn.
That's why
Damn.
Yano's biggest rivalry was always Minoru Suzuki, because he was so serious and all of Yano's antics just it's just wonderful.
It is.
Cutler drops an airplane spin in this match. Lets Ian name drop Mike Rotunda. And lets me throw it back to remembering when Bryan Danielson faced Homicide in a cage match that I got to see in Dayton back in 2005.
Oh
And
my
he
god.
airplane spun Homicide probably something like over 100 times.
I
Like,
assume.
just kept going.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go find this match somewhere in the depths of the archives.
I believe it's on Honor Club. It's somewhere. It was a cage match, and at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Dayton, there was a drop ceiling where there's those little panels that you can push up and everything else to access the lights and wiring. Brian couldn't stand up straight on the top of the cage. he had to scrunch down a little bit to.
And he's not that tall, so yeah. Jeez.
But yes, Danielson did deliver the flying headbutt off the top of the cage.
Wow. But
so that was fun. Danhausen gets the pin. He used the teeth again.
Oh my gosh.
Danhausen break out
my teeth
in a forever.
I gave him my tooth. Did I tell you that?
No.
I gave him my tooth. So in 2018, so I'm missing a tooth back here because another sick story. I had a double ear infection. As my infection was, healing, it started draining into an old cavity. I got cracked. An old filling. My tooth literally exploded. Like exploded. Yeah, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden my mouth, right, a tooth thing, right?
That's not how parts of your body are supposed to work at all.
Right. But it was just like a giant chunk of my tooth came out. I was like, this is not right. I went to the emergency dentist about 2 days later. They were like, well, we can't save this tooth, so we have to take it out. You can you can spend a lot of money, and we could try to do a root canal, or try to do all these things, or we can just take it out. And I decided to take it out, and literally two weeks later, I saw Danhausen, and I was like, I have to give him my tooth. So I put it in one of those little plastic bags, and I wrote to Danhausen, Heart Collins. And so when I saw him after the show, I was like waiting, like they were ushering it because it's a small indie venue, whatever. And they were, wanting to usher us back. And I was like, no, I have to see him. I have something for him. And they were like, okay. He, was at the merch tables. And I was like, I have something for you. And I handed him my tooth. And he said it was disgusting, delightfully disgusting. It was great.
That is tremendous. I love that story. So yes, Danhausen gets the win. He does. If you've never seen him do it before, he carries the jar of teeth with him to ringside. He dumps the jar of teeth into the opponent's mouth, and as they are recovering from having a whole bunch of teeth dumped into their mouth, he hits them with a pump kick, and the combination of the blow to the head, the teeth rattling around, and that gets the 3 count. So post-match, Ian does wonder if Dave Honor ever did get Danhausen that blimp. I mean, it's in his entrance video as well, so it really was. He also wondered aloud if Tony Khan was aware that was one of the promised deliverables or not.
Oh my gosh. He would have. It should have been in the fine print.
Well, unfortunately, the pandemic hit Sinclair pretty hard, so Dave Honor might not have been able to. So we're doing all right. We're about an hour in. We're close to the halfway point, though.
Yep.
This was fun. Glad to see Danhausen back. Hopefully, we see more of that. We have a video package on the main event tonight, which is Athena versus Nyla Rose for the ROH Women's World Title in a double tables match, or 2 out of 3 tables, or whatever you prefer to call it.
And it's the first one. They kept emphasizing that, which I freaking love.
Yeah. And it turned out to be, we'll get to it. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Tremendous match. We'll get to that in a little bit. But after departure to someplace far away, we come back to more tournament action as the Living Dead girl Abaddon takes on Viva Van.
I love any Abaddon match because it's the antithesis of Samoa Joe and TNA. Joe is gonna kill you. Joe, I just want to say Abaddon's gonna kill you. Abaddon's gonna kill you, because that's how I feel every time I see her wrestle. She gets better and better every freaking time. But Viva Van didn't have a chance in this match,
and that's and Viva Van is a pretty decorated performer in the Indies. They mentioned it several times, the number of different titles she's won across the country. She did recently just perform for TJPW, I believe. She had a tour over there in Japan. So Viva Van is somebody who's is not to be taken lightly either, but yes, Viva Van I believe can and will be a star. And all right, I'm gonna parlay that into something else. And I have this in my notes, and it's the dumbest thing to have in my notes, but I have it there anyway. I keep wanting to call her Vita Van because I remember Vita Von Starr, who was with The Righteous back in like 2019 to 2022. And was a part of Ring of Honor at that point. And like, they look nothing alike, they perform nothing alike, but their names are close, and I am old. So
put that on a shirt. Their names are close, and I'm old.
There you go. This was tremendous.
Yeah, the crowd really loves Abaddon. I mean, who doesn't love a spooky Living Dead girl gimmick? It's a great female, or not a non-binary character in the women's division. But I love seeing them be portrayed in the crowd and having the crowd respond in that way. They were pretty squared up pretty evenly in the beginning, but Abaddon took control with I know that she does like that like headbutt thing, right? There's like a
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be acting out anything. But every time that she does it, like I've seen other wrestlers do it, but every time that they do it to someone, then I'm just what? Ha! Ah! Ah! Oh my god, that looks like it hurt. Sorry.
Uh, no, and this was good stuff, and I'm reminded as you talked about the Living Dead girl nickname. I still remember them appearing on Collision one time. I think it was, and I think it was Tony Schiavone who initially messed up their pronoun
Yes.
and called them a her, and he they went on. They didn't mention it. He corrected himself later on through the broadcast. It was a one. It's fine. It's what it is. It happened. And I remember sitting and thinking, watching, going, you know what? I can kind of forgive it because they go by the Living Dead girl. So in that sense, you could see where the confusion would happen. But I'm glad it's super cool that that ROH and AEW respect it and roll with it and just don't make a big deal out of it. And it's nice to see in that capacity. But um,
Absolutely. If you saw the Hey EW with Abaddon with RJ City, they kind of cover it, which is as someone who, I dabble in, gender fluidity, and I do use she pronouns and they pronouns, depending on which way the wind blows for me. But it's that realm of gender is whatever you want to be. But Abaddon is just the embodiment. It's like the appetizer for a lot of people when she is also the main course. So, but
this
yeah,
all this all just makes me miss having Max the Impaler in Ring of Honor too.
uh, swoon. If you
The
love
the
violence, you will love Max the Impaler.
the current NWA World Television Champion and Women's World Television Champion.
Absolutely rightfully so. On God.
But oh my goodness, were they a wrecking ball through their first run in Ring of Honor in the late Sinclair era,
that
and they
that
had
was my
they had that.
first exposure to them, and that's kind of where it, it's the first time you watch a horror movie. It's like I am aroused by this, not like sexually aroused, that's not what I'm saying, but like my heart is racing and I like it. What I keep being violent. I want more violence.
and the dynamic that they had with Amy Rose as well
Oh,
was just such a fun like
absolutely.
presentation. And I thought last week when Kenny King came back, I was like, what is Amy Rose doing? Can we get Amy Rose to come back, put her back with Kenny King, put Kenny King back with literally anyone? I don't care. You've got Rhett Titus floating around. Put the All Night Express back together. I
But
don't
yeah,
like.
because Kenny King just left TNA, yeah.
Yes, Ed will be with me on this. Get more Kenny King on my TV as well.
I remember Kenny King being on The Bachelor, so there is a little space in my little heart for Kenny King. So
But I've done it again, and we've
I
rambled
know we've
way away
rambled.
from the original match.
Everybody, please
It's
hydrate.
it's what we do.
Please
Uh,
hydrate. Are you
Abaddon did pick
hydrating?
up the win. No, but I did plenty before the show started. I can last.
Oh,
It's okay. I
all right.
uh,
Oh yeah,
Abaddon
back to
does
the
pick up the
match.
win. Viva Van is obviously super super talented. She did hang with Abaddon for a long time here. Uh, there was some fun points in commentary talking about how Abaddon is a difficult performer to prepare for because they move in such unique ways
Mm-hmm.
around the ring, how they deliver moves, things like that. And Abaddon does pick up the win with the Black Dahlia. That like See, look at there. There's our fantastic production team. There's the Abaddon clip as mentioned, as Auntie mentioned it. So there you go with that. Abaddon picks up the win of the Black Dahlia, and next week we've got another very interesting match as we've got Abaddon versus Mercedes
Ooh,
Martinez in the quarterfinals.
ooh.
I don't think Mercedes Martinez is going to be intimidated by Abaddon.
How many times has she been a champion?
The answer is a lot.
A lot.
I don't have
Okay.
that information, but Mercedes is obviously a former
Oh,
Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, uh, and she's been doing this for a hot second and does not take anything from anybody.
there's a really long list of all the places that she's been champion of.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this is going to be a lot of fun. I think. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say Mercedes picks up the win.
Really?
I think Mercedes picks up the win there. And you do Starks versus Mercedes in the semis.
Starks and Mercedes.
Well,
Wow.
in the semis, but yeah, I
Hmm.
recognize that's spoiling a match we got coming in a couple. But did you really think that Robin Renegade was going to beat Billy Joe? Robin Renegade is great, and like the Renegades twins are a great act. They 100%. But
They're great.
let's be real on this. No, nobody was going in thinking Robin was going to pull off this upset.
I mean, yeah, but also, yeah.
Before we get there, we have a novelty tonight, some men's action.
Oh, oh yes. This the what is it called? The
The men's division.
the men's division. Well, we have at least two men's matches to talk about tonight, right?
Uh, well, we had Lee Johnson, Sonico
Oh
earlier,
yeah, that match, yeah. Yep, and then Danhausen.
and then we had Danhausen and Brandon Cutler, which was a stooge versus a demon. So I'm
Mhm.
not sure if you want to call that one a men's match or not. That's okay. Uh, and a low key excellent match. We had Anthony Henry of the Workhorsemen taking on All Ego Ethan Page. I was excited for this one.
I mean, I think what 2 weeks ago we talked about how much we love JD Drake and Anthony Henry, and their work together is so synonymous with what I would think is tag team wrestling. So to see Anthony Henry as a singles competitor really just showcases his strength. And it showed really, I mean, we knew that Ethan Page was probably going to win, but knowing that Anthony Henry did have this huge opportunity and he really seemed up to the challenge. They both adhered to the code of honor, which love that for them in a match. But I do think that Anthony Henry did get a little bit cocky during the match, a little bit showboaty, a little bit hot dogging and grandstanding when you can't underestimate Ethan Page.
No, you cannot, and it came back to bite him.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan, and I'm a little bit surprised by it because when you go back through their history, Ethan Page has kind of had Anthony Henry's number.
Mm-hmm.
They've met a couple of times in singles, in tags. Ethan tagged with ACH to defeat Henry and JD Drake for the Evolve tag titles at one point. So you feel like Henry should know by this point. Like, don't give this guy a chance to breathe. Press the advantage. He didn't do it.
Right? You know each other. Come on. Like you've seen him work. Hello. How, it was very kind of inexperienced to kind of do, very juvenile, what you would think. Definitely not someone who's been doing this for a long time, but
That said, I loved some of the limb work, some of the psychology that went into that. Going to work on the arm of Ethan Page, so to make it harder for Page to lift him up for the ego's edge.
yep.
And then supplementing that by going after the ankle and the knee as well, which Ian points out on commentary. You're not planting your feet to execute that lift if one of your wheels is bad. It's little stuff that. What's your opponent's strongest move? How can you neutralize it?
Mm-hmm.
I love little stuff like that.
Same, absolutely. If you weren't gonna say it, I was about to say it. So, because it's in my notes over here. So,
there you go.
But yeah, because his, ego's edge is so shoulders. Wait, I was about to sing head and shoulders, knees and toes. Sorry, but it's so like it's using your all of your upper strength, plus you have to plant your legs. So like just putting a body above your head is one thing, but having them placed in such a specific way and then throwing them towards you or towards the ground in a relatively safe manner. But
Yeah.
it's you have to be 100%, because we kind of saw that during the match where he got a little fatigued, you would say, a little.
Yeah, and we saw Ian mention that on commentary as well when Page did sort of get him up, but you could
Yep.
see his shoulder dip a little bit based on how he was able to actually get his arms up, and
Absolutely.
and as a result that was neutralized. So he had to go with the headshot, that outside in cutter that he's been using. He had to find a different way to finish the match. Like, that's such a simple little thing, and it, if A then B,
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, I had mentioned on here, because I don't really mention moves because sometimes I don't know the name of the move, so I just kind of go, oh, that looks cool. But of the psychology of it, with Ethan Page going up for that ego's edge, and with Henry being able to kind of weasel his way out of it, but then automatically go into a tornado DDT, which I love a good executed tornado DDT. It is just chef's kiss. It was just so pretty. And it was like attack, 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 attack. One loose, one little loose pebble, and all of a sudden the whole thing is coming down. So I I was surprised during the match. Is that bad that I was surprised during a match that I just thought was going to be a nothing match?
Hey, I've been banging the drum on Anthony Henry for a bit on whatever little tiny audience I have to get Anthony Henry more exposure with the Workhorsemen, get JD Drake more exposure with the Workhorsemen, give Anthony Henry a little singles push. Tell me it wouldn't be a lot of fun watching Anthony Henry in the pure division.
Absolutely, that would be so great. Oh my goodness.
Assuming we can remember that ROH actually has a pure champion.
Well, we'll get there soon. We'll get there soon.
They had to get that title off of Shibata.
Yeah.
And instead of moving it towards Josh Woods, who had been actively and vocally pursuing the pure title,
yeah,
we drop it back onto Utes, who is the BCC, who continues to be the BCC's whipping boy.
Yeah, poor guy, but
and he's going to take a beating in Arena Mexico in a couple weeks here too, so.
But yeah, back in the match, I really do enjoy how Ethan Page thinks during this match, especially any match, because he couldn't get his main signature move in. He's like, well, I gotta improvise. I gotta go to something else. You can't just keep doing the same thing and then, hoping that you kick out at 2, hoping that, you're okay. And being able to get a good cutter out of his good arm, not the arm that was being, repeatedly, beaten down. I
Yeah,
think it was exactly why his win streak is now up to 6 matches, which I love.
exactly. And Ian made the point on commentary again that he's reaching the point where, hey, Papa Smokes from another show on our local establishment here, checking in via
Right before
Twitch. How's
this
it going,
one.
sir? Yep, that's right. Ian Bobby doing great work as well. No, this was something that occurred to me as well as the number of ROH greats through the years that have had multiple finishes, multiple
Mm-hmm.
ways to beat somebody, and multiple credible ones.
Mm-hmm.
You had Christopher Daniels, who could use the Angel's Wings, who could use Last Rites, who could use the best moonsault ever. You had Samoa Joe, who could use the Coquina Clutch, the choke, who could use the Chimera Plex combination, who could use the Island Driver, who could use the Muscle Buster. You had CM Punk, who could use the Pepsi Plunge, the Anaconda Vice, you know, and you could just keep going and rattle off all the top names. You could find multiple ways to win a match, and Ethan's got that now.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly the kind of character development that we love to see with their bodies, so to speak. So
Yes. So good stuff here from the lesser gender, as they said. I'm sure that clip won't come back to haunt me. That's fine. From all the trolls, it'll be great.
If
So
that's what you pick out of all of this, come on. We've won.
It's true. It's true. We do a nice little promotional package for Renee Paquette's close-up interview with Queen Aminata. That is on the AEW YouTube channel. I encourage everybody to check it out. It's a really great little interview. It's about 10 to 12 minutes, something in that neighborhood. Covers a lot of ground as to how she got into wrestling, how she wound up coming stateside. Really, really good stuff from clearly a rising star in the division.
Absolutely.
And you referenced it earlier. Immediately from that, we go to Queen Aminata for some comments backstage about facing Taya Valkyrie in the next round.
I loved this because I just love when unfamiliar voices are ignited, and it was exactly how it needed to be lit. Aminata calling out Taya, telling her basically that this current version of her is lazy. And she just had a win tonight where she was, give someone to me that's up to my level, right? And she's like, I don't want to beat this version of you. I want to beat your best version. And isn't that exactly what someone who should have that TV, that fighting champion title should be? Is I don't want to fight just anyone. I don't want to beat just anyone. I want to fight the best version of you. Bring that back so that I can beat you. And beat
Yes.
you again and beat you again. That's a fighting champion. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Loved it. I think the exact phrase she used. Hey, Astrid, checking in the chat. How's it going, Astrid? Thanks for coming in. The phrase I believe she used was she called her sleazy mirror Taya, which was like, you look like Taya, but you're this weird alternate version that's like kind of slumming it with your weird husband.
With your weird husband,
and,
yeah.
and like doing all sorts of other odd things, but you're not you don't move like you used to. You don't have great fights like you used to. You're not that person more, and I want that person.
Mm-hmm.
And she's and it was what was even better was the end where she said, So bring that person to me, and then afterwards, get out of my way so I can go on to be. Woo!
It made me want to watch the match. Like, okay,
Yes.
bring that to me. I
Yes.
want that because who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna? Kyle,
I
I don't know who's
there's
gonna win that match,
there's
and I
part of
haven't
me
felt like that in a very long time.
when I'm not sure as a fan, like the smart brain does have a tendency to kick in sometimes. And I know that on the upper side of that side of the bracket is Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet, both of whom are basically babyface. So it tells me that in all likelihood the heel probably advances, but I genuinely don't know.
I don't know.
Like I really don't know at all.
But maybe Taya does win, and then her first defense would be Queen Amanada, and then she just blocks her. Does you can't go for this title anymore?
Hey, like I said, it could go in a lot of different directions, and I'm really okay with either one advancing. I'm not sure if you can have some fun either way.
Exactly. Well, this is great, great. Everything I needed it to be. I'm not crying. You're crying. That's a different show.
And uh, yeah, and and then let's move on, and we're getting into the final first round match of this tournament. We did spoil the outcome earlier. Not that I'm not sure how much of a spoiler it really was. Billy Starks and Robin Renegade. Yeah, this was. Honestly, I was a little surprised that it got close to 10 minutes.
Really?
I
Okay.
had it at 9:46.
Jeez. Do you notice that commentary called out how the color of the gear that Billy Starks is
Yes.
wearing, all black? When did she do
Yes.
that?
And
She's always
that was new. That was new. Which is interesting because her entrance gear was very colorful. She
yeah.
had that pleather vest that had I think it was purple, somewhere in between purple and pink in that kind of vein. And I'm sorry, I'm a guy. I don't do colors. I
Oh my gosh.
I have a very limited color palette. I'm like the Nintendo Entertainment System. I operate in about 16 colors.
Oh my gosh. We are the opposites. Do you know that there was a period of time when Dolph Ziggler was my favorite wrestler? Why? Because he had pink trunks. Everybody always had black trunks. He's the only
True.
one that I was like, pink. I love him. I he's my favorite.
Hey, I I see Bobby in the chat. I think keep pumping. Hey,
Let's do it.
I have a solid pink button down that I break out, and it looks good. I look good in pink,
I love it.
and
Real.
I look good. I look good in pink, and I'm happy for it.
I love that.
But this was about what we expected. It took a little bit longer than I expected, and Robin did get to have a good showing, though. This was so she did have a decent run there. Caprice did point out this is the first time we've seen Billy in all black. We did see that. I I did have a moment where Ian talks about how Robin has been working singles matches to prepare for this tournament.
What?
Her last singles win in either AEW or ROH was an untelevised dark win over Madison Rayne at an ROH taping in April of 2023.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah, because I'm just looking defeated, defeat,
Yeah.
defeat. And that's That's what they've done. I mean, Billy Starks has faced Robin Renegade before
Yes.
on multiple occasions.
Episode 24,
Yep.
August of 2023.
Yep. So
And did it, but and it took her 5.5 minutes to beat her. It took her almost 10 today.
yep. So good job. We
I
love
will
that.
say that the Renegades have the potential to be around for a good long time. Robin and Charlotte are only 23.
I love being an elder over here. Love it.
You're on here with me, and Ed is with that. So
I
I
forget.
need to watch that.
I'm baby next to you. I'm baby.
But no, you had this match. Robin is 23 and Billy is 19, and these two could be around. These two could be around for a while, and it'll be fun to watch them continue to grow.
And every time I see, I mean, especially Billiam over here. I'm a huge fan. I have merch. Absolutely have loved seeing them grow. Every time they come back in the ring, they're just getting better, making it more entertaining, really, really becoming that seasoned wrestler that, could be in there for 20, 30, 40 years. I'm here for it.
Yeah, if her body holds out, you saw some
Yeah.
of the bumps that she was taking on the indies before she showed up in Ring of Honor.
Whew. My gosh. Seen her
But
get pile drive through a table.
yeah,
Gosh.
powerbombed onto chairs.
Yeah. I did want to mention, this is what I put in my notes, is that Robin Renegade has been showing a lot more confidence from what I've seen of the Renegade twins to now, and seeing her, sometimes in these losing bouts, but she showed a lot of confidence against Billy. And I don't know if it's because maybe she saw Billy as a, easy win. She's younger than her. Maybe she's off her game a little bit because, she's trying to find this new identity in herself because what's been working hasn't really been working, or it's getting a little bit too close. So now we're seeing, people who lose all this. I don't like using the word jobber. Sorry. I hate using jobber because it just seems so like, well, you're just a jobber. I don't want to just limit her to just being a jobber in the women's division, but Robin did show a lot more confidence.
I was gonna say, yes, you could use the term
enhancement talent. That is a good one. Thank you. Enhancement talent. But yeah, I think that she showed some great confidence in this match. But,
hey, there you go. Our
local enhancement. Put that on a shirt. Let's get it.
Yes. I mean, you could even do it up in. How close can you get to the old Job Squad logo from the late 90s without getting sued for some sort of copyright infringement, or I wonder if it's even still trademarked anymore.
We'd have to go dig. Oh my gosh.
The only thing I had in my notes from this match was that the power bomb that Robin delivered on the floor, and I have my notes and I quote, "There was some starch on that power bomb."
That was like a sack of potatoes for sure. So, but yeah, between that and I really like the work that Billy Stark does outside of the wrestling ring, which I know that sounds silly to like identify, but I feel like her brutality goes up a notch when she has to do those suicide dives, to do those powerbomb spots, to do those, ring apron spots that a little bit too brutal. But yeah, that powerbomb was nasty. I loved it. She had to beat the count to get back into the ring.
Yeah, and Ian made the point of that being a 20 count on the floor in Ring of Honor, and how that sort of changes the calculus a little bit. Then Other promotions that have a 10 count.
Yep.
Which little things,
That's
love little
learning,
things.
learning things.
And great little things from Ian pointing out the differentiation between ROH and other promotions. So yes, Billie did pick up the win via submission. She will go on to face Diamante next week.
Okay,
I
what does she
keep
have to
saying next
do?
week, and I don't know.
What does she have to do to get the win? Because if we're really gunning for Billie versus, Mercedes, which I don't want to assume that Mercedes goes over Abaddon, but sorry.
That was just my prediction. I don't know that's what's
I
actually
don't
going to
know.
happen. I'm not sure if
I
that's what
think
should happen, but that is a gorgeous belt. Love that.
that is really pretty.
I think that yeah, it just feels like it's Billie's. So far, it feels like it's Billie's tournament to lose. Whether that's going to turn out to be the case or not,
Yeah.
I mean that's the way it's kind of present. That's the way it feels like it's being presented a little bit, and I'd have to look. I didn't get a chance to look up whether or not she and Diamante have gone one-on-one. I believe they have, but I don't have that off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't either.
And either way, I feel like Billie. I feel like it's not I feel like it's not going overboard to say that Billie should be the favorite going into next week or in the next round.
Absolutely. Nothing against Diamante, solid performer, but yeah.
Yes, on episode 34, Billie picked up the win over Diamante in 5:14. And that is it. Otherwise, Diamante and Mercedes did beat Athena and Billie Starks in that tornado rules match the next week back in October. Do you think a winner take all match, TV title, world versus world title, could be how Billie gets another shot at Athena?
That's like five steps ahead.
It's a way they could go about it. I always believe that Billie is destined to take the title off of Athena. I still believe that, but the events at the end of Final Battle made that significantly more difficult to get from A to B, and a winner take all match could potentially do that. But the risk you run there is, especially if Billie is the first champion, to immediately throw that into the blender in service of the world title does a massive disservice to this title that you've just spent all this time promoting and talking up and holding a tournament for and making feel special with all this dedicated TV time.
Right.
Would be my concern there. Otherwise, I don't hate the idea.
Give me 2 seconds. I gotta go answer the door. Hold on.
Oh, well, I can tap dance through that. No problem. Let's see. So going back into this match, Billie did pick up the win via submission. She's been using that hammerlock neck vice sort of back, gets a hammerlock, almost a crossface chicken wing style. So that coupled with the new black gear, I do think that there's a point that Caprice mentioned on commentary about this being the first time we've seen Billie in all black. We're seeing a new submission finish. So you're seeing a couple of different things stack up to a newer, sort of harder edged Billie Starks, which I got to assume at some point that either leads to A, the TV title, or B, something pulling the rug out from under her and her possibly turning heel on Athena and going back after the Minion Overlord. And we'll kind of see where that goes. But so that was our last of the first round matches in the women's TV title tournament. Next week we have. I keep saying next week. I genuinely don't know if it's going to be next week or not. I don't believe they've said. If they did, I missed it because I was taking notes on this episode. So we will have Diamante taking on Billy Starks in one quarterfinal. The winner of that will take on the winner of Mercedes Martinez and Abaddon. On the other side of the bracket, you have legit Layla Hirsch taking on Red Velvet, with the winner of that taking on the winner of Queen Aminata and Taya Valkyrie. So, leave us some messages and some comments if with any with predictions, whether that's for the next round or no, who's winning it all. We'll put it on the spot right now. Who's winning it all right now? We've got our Elite Eight. Who's winning it all? Ed says Layla Hirsch.
And I like how you think, but I don't know. I don't know. I have my doubts.
I'm gonna say Queen Aminata. I think she's really hot right now, and I think Billy winning the tournament just feels too easy.
Do you think it would be Billy and Queen Aminata in the end?
Honestly, I might have Mercedes take her out and put Mercedes versus Aminata in the finals.
Oh, that would really legitimize a win from her too. So
just because of the fact that you've got Billy Starks going through Mercedes' friend and partner Diamante in the previous round, and whether you'd run that via interference or what have you, maybe Athena's not there to make the save for Billy. Something like that. Like, you can plant all sorts of little seeds and have some fun with it. And love Billy Starks. She's incredibly talented. She's 100% the future of this division. But her being in this tournament, to a certain extent, kind of feels like it's taking all the air out of the room. Like, she seems to be taking up all the oxygen and almost feels like a level above most of the rest of the performers here. And
I mean, that
makes her feel like a red herring to me.
She's been a main focal point of the women's storyline in Ring of Honor for months now. She's been main title adjacent. So
I mean, that's just my thought. So I think at some point she does not win the whole thing.
I'm going Taya Valkyrie because you convinced me earlier. You convinced me that we need a heel, and that she hasn't. She's come in, and how nice would it be if she's doing all these segments with her husband with that fighting championship, and she's looking for someone beyond her level week after week after week.
Well, and her initials are TV.
It fits. If it fits, it sits, right?
That is how it goes. So depending on when they hold it, based on our predictions at least, that makes that Aminata Valkyrie match very, very important.
Yep.
We'll see how this goes. So if you and I love this about this tournament, you could make a case for Layla, you could make a case for Billy, you could make a case for Queen Aminata, you could make a case for Taya. You could. I love that.
I love it.
So I tap dance through that as you're gone. So we head backstage to Lexi Nair with Ethan Page, who once again is. He mentions his 12-2 record in Ring of Honor, his recent winning streak. Once again, he's calling out Kyle Fletcher, who, as we heard in a couple of the news sites this week, picked up the story that Kyle Fletcher has been having visa issues. That's why he has been unable to travel. That's why he has been unable to work dates or defend his TV title. And And Ethan even gives a couple of jabs in this interview to Kyle about not coming to work. and but it's okay. He doesn't mind, because the longer Kyle Fletcher's gone, the more he grows his connection with the ROH fans, and the more it gathers momentum. And he says when Kyle comes back, he might not like it here very much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of see the foreshadowing with how that's going to go, right? Because if Will Ospreay is going to, AEW in a very major capacity, I assume he would be taking his buddies with him in a more permanent faction, so to speak. So having Kyle Fletcher be exposed to the audience is good, because then there's an other identifying person other than Ospreay. But it gives him something to do while Mark Davis is out. But
yeah,
I have no idea when Mark is coming back. We don't know anything. But I don't know if that's right away kind of thing with if Ethan Page is going to be rewarded for his to what you said, 12-2.
yes,
12-2 record, if he's going to be rewarded right away, or if they're going to have a program together, a multi-match program to
I don't
feed
know.
us.
My temptation would be to just put the title on him at Supercard, if not sooner.
If not sooner. Oh.
It depend. There's, I mean, it's going to depend on visa issues. It's going to depend on a couple other things, and it might be nice for Ethan Page to get that big win on a pay-per-view level event.
That would be great.
Then you can bring back Kyle Fletcher to AEW proper. I'm, like you said, I'm not sure when Mark Davis is coming back, but put Aussie Open back with Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back the United Empire.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm again ADHD looking at things. So Kyle Fletcher has held the television title for 67 days, but I don't see that he's had any legitimate defenses.
I think he had one or two. It hasn't been much. It has not been much.
Legitimate.
And I cannot remember for the life of me. Or maybe it was just an eliminator match. It might have just been an eliminator. I can't recall. And I can't find it off the top of my head right now, and I'm going to be staring at my phone.
Yeah, that's
search for it, but
that's what happens. Yeah, but yeah, there was that eliminator tournament and everything. Oh yeah, Kyle Fletcher versus Willie Mack. That was his first title defense, and then against Angelico. So
yes,
and Christopher Daniels. So,
but that seems to be a thing when Tony gets a new champion. It's kind of another new toy to play with. He gets 2 or 3 defenses right out the gate, and then just kind of peters away. And
I mean, we haven't seen him since January. Well, is that January 10th on Ring of Honor, but he was on AEW Dynamite proper, losing against Chris Jericho. So it's just, maybe it is Kyle's time to, he can come back for it again, right?
Has not been in action since January 31st when he faced Chris Jericho. Fightful Select reported he's having visa issues right now. He's set for a program with Ethan Page for the ROH television title. And Wheeler Yuta and Fightful Select is also reporting that Wheeler Yuta is sidelined with injury as well. That's why he hasn't been around. But
Baby boy.
I know.
Baby boy.
But
Okay. We're almost through this. Oh my
we're
gosh.
almost there. We're almost there. Semi-main
Okay.
event, Four Corner Survival, AR
What is
Fox.
up with these four corner survival? I feel like they forgot that they had these matches. And like, what is this? A third one?
Oh, this is the Four
Second?
Corner Survival was always a staple of Ring of Honor, even
I
dating back years and years and years.
I
So I'm
know.
not surprised that they have them.
That's
And
true. I
at least
appreciate that they are bringing it back. I appreciate that it is synonymous with Ring of Honor. It just kind of feels a little like, oh, okay, we have to do another one.
there was a point where there was one on almost every show. Like that and once they were on, although once they moved on to TV, they happened less frequently. But there
Okay.
was a point where during the before the HDNet days, so in what most people consider the golden era of Ring of Honor, from about 2004 or 5 to about 2009 or 10, give or take, there was a Four Corner Survival on almost every show or every couple of shows. It was
All
very, very
right.
common for them.
All right. So I'm just learning the history of it, and I'm just look at that. Look at you. Look at you. It's turn. Oh, Ed. Ugh. Let's not go down that path.
Hot takes. Hot takes from Ed.
Listen. All right.
Getting spicy late on a Thursday night into Friday morning here on the East Coast.
All right, but we have this four corner survival match.
Yes. We have AR Fox, Matt Sydal, Commander, and Exodus Prime.
Excellent group of lads.
Yes. I have a note. I appreciate Commander's pink gear, and I'm choosing to believe it's due to the taping's proximity to Valentine's Day.
Yeah, probably. I would assume so.
And that's good stuff. Ed, I feel you. My kids don't have school tomorrow, so lucky them. They get to sleep in.
Why?
Because do you remember when you were in like grade school and they would have this thing called midwinter break that wasn't actually related to anything, but it was just they gave you a Friday off in like mid to late February?
No.
That's a thing that has happened here for at least in Michigan where I'm at for as long as I can remember.
Wow.
Yeah, and then spring break comes in like the end of March. Sure, why not?
Sure. Sure.
Getting back to the match, this was Exodus Prime's ROH debut.
I love that.
He has knocked around a few indies in and around the Texas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. He just competed for Revolver, actually, in a four-way for the Revolver title with Alex Shelley, Alan Angels, and JD Griffey. So he's in with some fast company.
Yeah, geez. He probably kept up because he is fast himself. So
indeed. Now this was a blast. Like this was they knew coming in this was going to be war and air traffic control, and this absolutely was that.
I mean, you put a rocket on a rocket on a rocket on a rocket. All these four corner survival matches. It's bound to show some fireworks, right?
Absolutely. I do have a note that said I would be good with a one-on-one pairing of any of these two men.
Absolutely. I mean,
I did ask specifically on Twitter for Sydal and Commander.
Yeah, Matt Sydal is basically the vet in all of this, I guess you could say. But nobody in that ring is like baby, right? Yep. Maybe Exodus Prime is a little bit more green.
I want to say based on his cage match, he's like 30.
Yeah.
Which is not old necessarily by any stretch, but he's not a rookie either.
But it was very polished, it didn't feel out of control. It was like the perfect amount of chaos that you would want from a match of that sort.
Yes.
I always love watching AR Fox. I feel like he lives up to the Fox name. Very slinky, comes in and out. I don't understand. He goes here, he goes here. But the way that he just, I don't know how to describe the way that he moves, but it's like he sneaks in and delivers his moves and then slinks out, and then he's across the screen doing something else on the other side, which
Yeah.
I absolutely love. How do you have the energy to do that? I don't know.
You usually somehow delivering a cutter somehow.
Yeah.
Like where did that even come from? And yeah, the innovation in some of the spots here was wild.
Mhm.
Uh, and I feel weird saying this right after I talk about how I love seeing Seidel get so much shine in these matches, because he doesn't often get it on AEW programming proper, and it's good to see him look like a star here, because he's always been
Absolutely.
super underrated in my book. But I had a couple of that I had notes on. Commander gets Seidel stuck in the Romero special on the apron there, that Mexican surfboard move.
Mm.
And while that's happening, AR Fox gets a running start and clears them with a no hands plancha onto Exodus Prime on the floor.
How did he
What?
do that? How?
And then amazing fast twitch muscles in
Put
the
an
legs, and a
ants in his
lot of box
pants.
jumps. And oh my gosh. And then Seidel gets free from the Romero special, hits a Meteora on Commander on the apron.
On the apron. Yes.
I got up and limped walking to my kitchen to get a drink after this match was over, because I watched that move.
Oh my
I just
gosh. Mhm.
AR Fox with a split-legged superplex, like standing on the top rope and then drop down into the split leg. And
Yeah.
how?
I don't understand. Gravity does not work in
I
these matches at all.
no. But
Mhm.
speaking of Matt Seidel, because I'm going to continue to talk him up as an ROH original here, and you talk about him being a veteran presence. On April 23rd, it will have been 20 years since his ROH debut.
That's a long time. Oh my god.
Matt Seidel's first Ring of Honor match was at Reborn Stage 1 in St. Paul, Minnesota, on April 23rd, 2004, against, of course, his longtime independent rival across the Midwest, Delirious. Seidel first got on ROH's radar because of those matches that he had with Delirious around Minnesota and Chicago and all through the Midwest. IWA Mid-South had a bunch of them on Ian Rotten's territory. But it was 20 years ago this April that Seidel first appeared in Ring of Honor.
Wow. Gosh, that makes me feel so old, but then young at the same time, because holy cow. Wow.
Yeah.
But
When Matt Seidel made his ROH debut, Billy Starks wasn't born yet.
oh my god. Let me just bury myself in the ground. My god. Ugh. This match was
That's
a good
okay.
match.
I had a similar thought at one point about I think it was Ethan Page and Christopher Daniels, and how, or no, it was Daniels wrestling somebody at, or was it Christopher Daniels and Nick Wayne or something? It was somebody with when that I realized that they were like 5 years. Yeah, it was Ethan Page and Christopher Daniels, and I realized that Ethan Page was like 4 years old or 5 years old or something like that when Christopher Daniels was main eventing the very first Ring of Honor show.
Yeah.
Like, you have some of those veterans that are just there.
And they still move like they did 20 25 years ago. Crazy.
Yeah, it is wild. Um, so, but we're approaching 2 hours, so I should probably move on. What else did you have? Do you have anything else on this match?
I do like that there was some sort of like friendship, I first, truce, I guess, going on in this match. There was a lot of like psychology of like, okay, we're not doing anything ourselves. We're not chipping away any further. And Matt Sydal and Air Fox were having some sort of a truce, but it quickly dissolved as they're in it for themselves. This is not a tag team. This is in it for themselves. And I like that, at the end of that, sequence that Matt Sydal really got Air Fox for a very close near fall. But, and then, Air Fox turned it on him with a 400 million, I don't know, splasherino or some sort bomb. I don't know. How do you know how many rotations they do? My eyes plays tricks on me all the time. So, he just moved around 3 times, 2.5 times.
Well, from a standing position, a full rotation, and then landing in a splash, that's how it gets to be a 450.
Oh,
Because
okay.
from the standing position, the full rotation is 360, then an additional 90 to get to horizontal for the splash. 360 plus 90 gets you to 450.
I feel like I failed geometry or whatever the hell that was. But yeah.
I got C's in physics. Somehow I managed to make it work.
Math with Professor Kyle.
I majored in public relations. This is a very bad idea.
I love seeing bodies fly, so it's great seeing that. Literally putting everything on the line to get this win. But everyone had their opportunity to make the cover and make it count, but
it was Commander that
picked
up the win.
He's been the champion of Rampage. He's been the champion of ROH, like having these really solid matches. So I love it. I love to see it.
And yeah, that is he did pick that rope with that rope walk shooting star press. At this point, Commander is still the current AAA World Cruiserweight Champion. So
oof.
He hasn't had the belt out with him recently, so I wasn't sure if he had lost it or not. But he is apparently still the champion there.
Interesting.
Yeah, this was wild. Commander picks up a big win here, and gets the pin in Exodus Prime. Unfortunately, sad to say the new guy eat the pin, but
yeah, it's what to say. Surprising. Come debut, and you get to eat the pin. So.
Yep. Then before the main event, we go to Billy Stark's comments. Very standard stuff. Solid promo. This tournament is for her. It's her title. I'm the youngest and the toughest. I want it more than anything. And ends with, I lost at Final Battle. I'm not losing again.
I'm not losing again. Yep. We shall see. We shall see.
I could be wrong, but it just feels like it almost feels like she's too big for this title. And I guess we'll see how it plays out. It feels like putting the title on Billy Stark's kind of feels like easy mode to me. I don't know. Like it feels like
there wouldn't be much depth beyond that. So
does she deserve it? 100%. She is super talented and deserves it, and probably more. But I guess we'll see how it plays out. And then we'll talk about it for a couple hours here and probably ramble off and wind up on some sort of tangent, and God knows where we'll go. But
and we're gonna have the greatest time doing it. So
sounds
like fun to me. All right.
That brings us to our main event. Main event time.
It's time for the main event.
Athena and Nyla Rose for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls tables match.
I it is on point. That's what we do. You said I could
Um,
talk, so
hey,
that's what I want to do. So
that's what we got you here. Absolutely. Um, God, this was excellent. This was excellent. I I had a discussion with the fabulous Kimmy Sokol on social media
yeah,
about this match, because I went to say that this was a pay-per-view caliber main
absolutely.
event,
The
but but Honor Club is already behind a paywall, so is it already technically pay-per-view?
pay per.
I,
It, I don't know how that works because, like,
you
I don't
are
know.
paying to see it.
I my brain is already my brain is mush. So yes, yes. Why
I'm
not?
sorry. These are the things that I think about.
Yeah.
This is the way my brain works. Welcome. Thanks for coming to the party.
Ah,
Regardless, this was excellent. There you go. I'd love to have her on. I had her on.
absolutely.
I had her on when I hosted a show talking ROH on Love Wrestling. So I would absolutely do that. You know,
It's only 9
uh,
p.m. 9:20
well,
p.m. here, so
they did.
I
He did
feel the
specify.
same.
He did specify Eastern Standard Time in the
That's
comment
true.
though.
That's
So,
true.
uh, but this was. Regardless, this was a blast.
Mhm.
This would fit on any pay per view level event, um, and this has been such a fun little mini feud for Athena. And I don't know if it's over or not, but this has been such a fun feud because all the women that you generally would consider powerhouses in the division, she hasn't really faced any of them. She never fought
Right.
Stat. She
Yeah.
fought Jade once and lost.
Yeah.
She never fought Taya, who's obviously got a power game. Um, I believe she did fight Rachel Ellering, who does have a bit of a power game, and
Mhm.
struggled to put her away. So
Mhm.
I this is but Nyla's on a different level in that
Yeah.
sense,
I
and
mean, they consider her one of the pillars of AEW. She was, you know, a champion, and she's the person that it seems like AEW has put before a new challenger, or a new champion. Hey, you want to get to the top, you want to be number one, you have to get through me. So seeing her go through this program with Athena is okay. Athena has been going through not relatively easy uh, matches to retain her title. She's calling herself the champ of champs, right? She is
she's your
the
forever
forever
ROH Women's
champ,
Champ. Yeah,
right? So if you want to call yourself that, uh, come through the pillar, come through the
come through
marquee.
come through the native beast.
Mm-hmm. And why not in a two? I don't know, 2 out of 3 table falls. Table
I was also calling it double tables to be
double
shorter, but
tables. Yeah,
because you have to
it's
put your opponent through 2 tables, so that made
yeah.
sense to me. But
That's
I
one thing that I would love to go through one day is a table. Just
that's okay. I sleep wrong and I hurt for 2 days. I don't think you need to put through a table.
I only want
Uh,
to do it once. I only want to do it once.
that's all the more I'd be able to do it.
Oh, I'll even lay on the table and just frog splash on me. I might like that. That might feel good. So, but
uh, and, but no, getting to this right away, we established like Athena goes for the attack off the bell like she's done before,
mhm.
but Nyla is absolutely just a physical superior
Yeah.
to her.
I'm I mean, not only height but weight and strength, I would assume, because
Yeah,
They were just some of these strikes that she was doing, and she usually does her like Samoan drop that just seemed to like take Athena's breath away. Like, oh
Yeah.
God, what did I get myself into?
Yeah,
Um,
we've seen Athena win matches by referee stoppage with a big forearm strike,
mhm.
and Nyla not only absorbed it, but one shot later, Athena's on her butt.
Yeah, and it's the thing of, I know how to beat all these other people, and you do the same move over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden you fight someone new with the same thing, and it's, oh, the recipe is not going to uh get me that win, get me the desired outcome, so got to switch it up. And that's how you
Yeah,
make a champion. um
that's how you make a compelling character.
yeah. But
When you take everything away from them, what do they do then?
yeah. But Nyla starting off strong, starting off powerful, really did lead her into that first fall. Um, just absolutely picking her up and power bombing her through a mother effing table for that first fall really put an ear marker to this match. Like, okay, you were down, you're down, you have to get two right away now.
Yeah,
There,
and
there's no hesitating now.
I kept I keep my stopwatch during the match, and I kept hitting the lap button through falls.
Hmm.
The first Athena went through the first table in 1 minute 17 seconds.
Oof,
Less than a minute and a half into this, and Athena's down 1-0.
gosh.
Like I,
She had her homework cut out for her, and it was like she kind of like hesitated for a second after that first, the bell rang, and it was like, oh well, shit, now I really have to come back.
yeah,
But
and that was just such a great move here, because you establish in the first 90 seconds of this match, Nyla is physically superior, and Athena can't take some of the risks that she normally takes. She
yeah.
went for that Hurricane Rana off the apron that you've seen her hit before.
Oh,
Nyla
so
caught
good.
it, power bombed her on the apron, and
Oh,
without breaking contact, turns, pivots, table. And less than 90 seconds in, you're down 1-0. And
absolutely.
all the bluster and all the bravado. And did you see the interview that she cut last week, sort of sitting on the ground in
Hmm.
front of the backdrop? And like, that was a powerful interview to me. And this, I feel like, put her right back in her most vulnerable spots, parts of that interview. You saw parts of that interview where the mask dropped from her a little bit, and
Hmm.
she looked very, very concerned and
Absolutely.
recognized that Nyla Rose is an existential threat to her title. And
Hmm.
no matter what you convince yourself of, it goes back to the Mike Tyson quote of everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And 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 Athena, the character, undoubtedly came into this feeling good, feeling confident, feeling like she had a strategy, and 90 seconds in, done,
Yeah.
table. And then all that doubt has to creep into your mind as a competitor.
I mean, I think of it theatrically. Wow, I was trying to say theatrically. um you kind of have that moment where all of a sudden you're going through a table, and then your ear starts ringing. I don't know what that's called, where it's just a high pitched noise. There's rubble around you. It's kind of foggy. You're like trying to wake yourself up, and everything is blurry. Is that the end? Is this the end? You worked all this way to call yourself the forever champion, and now you're disoriented in 90 seconds. The facade is gone, and now the real grip begins. This is where champions become legendary, or they become placeholder.
Yeah, this is you're fighting for your life now.
Hmm.
And obviously not in a literal sense, but yeah, this was okay. What have you got?
Hmm.
And she mounted the comeback. She uh, brought the fight back to Nyla Rose, took advantage on the outside, because you have seen the outside of the ring still be a major advantage for Athena
Mm-hmm.
for the most part through her reign. And even with the physical advantages that Nyla had, Athena was able to equalize things a bit. And in 8:52 of the second fall, so 10:09 total, hit the O-face off the second rope to Athena standing on the, or to Nyla standing on the apron,
Yep.
and sends her back through the table to tie the match up. So
Yeah, this is where Athena really used Nyla's momentum against her. This is a weakness for Nyla Rose because she is so dominating, is that it's not that she gets careless or uncalculated, it's that her opponents are much smaller and able to use that against her. And Athena really didn't waste any time. Um she did set up that table, and it's not that she set the table up in the ring and, you know, doing the things on the outside. She had that plan. She goes, there's always the table on the inside of the ring. And I really have to hand it to Athena, because this is the part of the match where it's like, okay, this is our champion. This is the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. This is what she's made of. She is a force to be reckoned with.
yeah,
But
and this just continued to be such a battle of attrition.
mhm.
Both women taking big shots. You had them fighting over the table in the ring. Uh, you had and at one point you had Ian Riccaboni almost offering a eulogy to Athena's reign, saying if it ends now, it's still absolutely a legendary title run, and
Yeah.
sort of putting the viewer in the spot of, oh, this is a real possibility. This might
Mhm.
happen. And yeah, she came back and tied it, but this this could happen. You don't know, and
Yep.
anything to plant that seed of doubt. But Athena was able to retain the title after an absolutely terrifying
Oh my
table spot
gosh.
to end the match.
Okay. I for a second thought that Nyla was going to take it, because just the placement of the table, how they were setting everything up, teetering on the apron, off the apron, between the ropes, climbing on top of the ropes. I was like, that's it. This is how they're gonna end it here. This is how they're gonna do it. Uh which I kind of thought, okay, I was kind of coming to terms with it, that like, you know, I went through all the stages of grief, right? You're accepting it, you're
Uh, as much as I wouldn't have hated the idea in sort
Mhm.
of a Clubber Lang Rocky 3 kind of way of
Mhm.
like someone just bigger and more physical just comes in and you know takes care of things, and then she has to get it back and so on and so forth.
You're right.
But I really wouldn't want this run to end with anything other than a pinfall.
Hmm.
Maybe that's just me, but
That's fair.
like this deserves the respect of making a new star via a 1 2 3 in the center of the ring, and
Hmm.
really making that happen.
Uh, yeah,
But
I mean, it kind of scared me going into it, especially with how Athena was selling her knees or her
yeah,
ankle. But ooh, got the bird shivers talking about that. Um, but you see Nyla get a little bit too confident, right? She goes, ha, 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 I got you where I want you, which is something that we've seen Nyla do. What, 2 weeks
of
ago when
course.
we were talking about that, she was standing there in the ring. She's like, ha, 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 I got you where I want you. But
But didn't work out that way. Athena, we had Nyla seated on the top rope, uh, both legs hung around to the side. Athena is able to come up underneath, get her up into a standing electric chair position, walk out onto the apron
Oh my
with
gosh.
Nyla on her shoulders,
Oh,
and electric chair drop her forward through
forward.
the table. Just
Absolutely crazy. That I would
ridiculous
think
spot.
as like a bigger competitor, I would not be my guards would not be up that someone smaller could pick me up in that sort of way.
No.
No. No way.
Athena's power is definitely underrated,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's not one that you'd expect to see.
But
That was like seeing Dalton Castle get up Shane Taylor for Bangarang, where it's just where it's like Dalton is strong, but
mm-hmm.
I still didn't see that one coming.
Absolutely.
But no, this was Athena picks up the win, 2-1 in just under 14 minutes. Just a tremendous main event. Great title match. I'm not sure if this is over or not. It wouldn't shock me if it wasn't, but
Yeah.
I'll give credit to Kimmy again. I mentioned her earlier because I was talking to her about this match.
Mm-hmm.
She suggests run it back at Supercard of Honor. I don't believe there's ever been a women's ladder war.
So we're just going full brutality. I'm into it. Let's go.
I kind of figured you'd be on board with the violence.
You would have thought right.
I know my auntie.
Yeah, I love violence. So, yeah.
This was a fantastic main event, and it's been a run of a couple of great weeks for women's wrestling. Hopefully, this continues moving forward. We are still going to have the quarterfinals, and the semis and the finals of this tournament. So we can hope that ROH continues to be a haven for women's wrestling. This one was. I like to keep my facts and figures here. This week was total bell to bell match time was 1:13:05. Over 73 minutes of wrestling.
Wow.
Which meant 68.2% of this show was bell to bell in ring action.
Wow.
Last week was 58.2. The week before that was 54.4. So we're just going all in on it.
Love that.
Average match time was 8:07, up from 6:11 last week, and 6:13 the week before that. If you liked wrestling, and especially if you liked women's wrestling, and your biggest concern was what happens bell to bell, this is a big step towards Ring of Honor being that show for you.
Absolutely.
The only complaint that I have about this show, no Dalton Castle.
Oh.
We still don't have word on his decision. Johnny TV gave him his ultimatum last week. Johnny will give him the match and the opportunity to smash his face if Dalton puts the boys on the line.
Should we wear all black next week? Jeez.
And it just struck me as an odd choice based on the story that you were telling, that Dalton is so completely obsessed with Johnny and wanting to smash his face. You've got your request. Is it really taking you that long to make this decision? You have been so in on this all week. Every week you've been chasing Johnny TV. It feels weird to me that you don't have anything this week on that.
That's fair. Well, we have things to look forward to.
We do. And including more fantastic women's wrestling in the couple weeks to come. The quarterfinals, the semifinals. The tournament's been great so far, and it's only uphill from here.
Absolutely. This is a great show. Great show. Top to bottom. Even with the predictable matches, Great show. Absolutely.
Predictable is not necessarily bad. Like as long as the journey gives you a lot of fun to get there, and this definitely did. Any final thoughts on the show before we go into plug time?
Final thoughts is I'm ready for them to hit it into fifth gear, right? Just fit right. That's how you do a manual car. Just shift it into high gear. Let's go. And I'm ready for the stakes to be a little bit higher as we go forward. So
absolutely love it. Absolutely that. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Be sure to leave us some comments if you're watching this after the fact. If you're listening, let us know what you think about the tournament so far. Let us know who your predictions are. If you want to go match by match, get into the quarterfinals, let us know. I'm interested to see what everybody thinks, because you could make a case for a lot of people to win this tournament. And so it should be a lot of fun. Why don't you go ahead and let the people know where they can find you?
You can find me on X, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere there is social media at _queer auntie. I'm mostly moseying around on the internet, posting cute little things that make you smile. Kyle, where can we find you?
It's true. you do that very well. I am at Kyle K. Sparks on Twitter. I will not call it X based on that rich jerk.
Absolutely.
I am at Kyle K. Sparks. That's spending most of my time on Twitter. I do have a presence staked out on Blue Sky, on Hive, on a whole bunch of others. I'm technically there on Instagram, but I don't use Instagram very much. I'm not much of a selfie person. I'm not much of a pictures person anyway. I don't take many photos. I probably should.
You got a haircut and everything. Come on. I know. Let's go.
I did make a side by side of myself pre and post. Like I had the big beard. It was. I try to not toot my own horn too much, but this is a significant improvement.
I'm all for it.
That said, at Kyle K. Sparks, most anything I'm doing is going to be on there. I'm going to be here every Thursday night with you, talking ROH here on Honor Ramble, having a good old time. And anything else that I do, I'll be announcing there. I don't have anything else completed yet. I do write occasionally for Body Slam. I do like to write some features for them here and there. I do have a pinned tweet, I think still on the top of my feed with some of the stuff that I've written. At one point, I had a long deep dive on the Punk Joe trilogy. I had a deep dive on the Eddie Kingston-Claudio Castagnoli feud. So I had some fun with those things that I've written back in the day. So those are fun to go back and read. Also, the fine folks at our local establishment who are helping us put on this show, give them a follow on YouTube, on Twitch, on the socials, on Twitter, at OLE Podcasts. All the things happening below on the scroll.
If you hate our faces and you think that we should stop talking, you should leave a comment anyways and share it to your friends and say, look at these weirdo dweebs, because the more you share it, the more we become popular. So yeah, thank you.
Spot on. But yes, give us likes, share, subscribes. Thank you so much for joining us on Honor Ramble. We once again went longer than the actual show did, which should not be a shock to anyone. Give us likes, shares, subscribes, follows, all the things. And we'll see you next week for more Honor Ramble. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Bye.
I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So